Let's see.
Yeah.
Good evening. Good evening. Come on in. Come on in.
Oh, everyone can see us.
Yes, we are live.
We
So
are
please,
live.
please share. Please share. Please share. We'll give you maybe 30, 45 seconds to log on. We'll start when we get at least a couple people on. But I'm
Okay.
excited this evening. I'm so excited for the topic that we're going to talk about. I see some people joining in. Come on
Okay.
in. Come on in. Good evening. I'm gonna try to go on Facebook and share too.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see. Come on in. We're going to get started shortly. Let's see. Let's go ahead and share.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to get started. So
All right.
thank you for tuning in. My name is Candace Simpson. If this is your first time following me, I am I am a consultant. I help women and families empower them to break through and overcome barriers that's preventing them from changing the world around them. Okay, if you have been following my platform, Mom, really, you would know throughout the last 18 months that I have been commissioned or had a passion for families, have a passion for our youth and their identity. So building that parent-child relationship. And so for the last 18 months on and off, I have brought speakers on or I came on to Mom Really platform to talk about parent-child relationship, talk about Christianity, talk about practical tools of how believers, or if you're non-believers, how can we build a better relationship with our children? Because when you look at today's world, it's jacked up. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you a beautiful, talented woman I met last year. Her name is Tonya Kelly, Sports Kelly. Okay,
Hey.
Sports Kelly provide media coverage for sports, fashion, and entertainment, but she's also the CEO and founder of a Power You, an organization that deals with anti-bullying and deals with fashion. And so that's how I met her last year. My daughter was actually one of the Power You fashion models. Okay, because throughout my daughter's middle school years, she was bullied. She was bullied because of her skin complexion. She was bullied because of her not having a father in her life. She was bullied even because of her natural hair. There was a time where we struggled with trying to build her identity and loving who she is because she hated her natural hair because a lot of people used to talk about her. Okay. And that's really what started the Mom Really movement for me. Is helping my daughter shift her identity and help guide her in her purpose, even though she's going into teenage and adult years, but to begin helping as they transition from an adolescent going into an adulthood to shape their identity and not allow influences to take away from who she is, what she was created to be. And so without further ado, I will introduce the lovely talent, and she's also a model, third grade teacher. Just this woman is so without further ado, introduce you to Tonya. And Tonya, please share with us more about the Power You. Okay, but also then we'll begin talking about what are some things, what started you this path, and then what are some practical tools we can help with to build our youth up. Go ahead.
Yes, well, hello. I'm Tonya Sports Kelly, Diva Kelly. First off, thank you, Candace, for just giving me an opportunity to be on your platform. I watch your show, and it's so great to see women, especially women of color, in this
Yeah,
day. We out here bossing, we out here mom life,
yeah.
and we also out here God life. So just thank you. But again, I am a third grade teacher by career. Shouts out to my Horizon Science teachers and my babies. And I live life fearlessly. I am a survivor. Cervical and thyroid cancer is 5 years. Just again, it's Black History Month, so I have my Black earrings on. I got my hair
Yes,
wrapped from Rapology. So I just wanted to just come on and just be of a blessing to someone, even if it's just one person. So empower our youth. Ooh, I started because my daughter was bullied. Her identity at the time of 2017, um, she was bullied just for small little things. It wasn't even about her, it was her appearance, her
Mm.
hair. It was about her getting good grades. So it's the simple things that us parents kind of wash over, because it's something that you're like, what, you gonna be bullied for that? But that's what my daughter was bullied for 9, almost 8 months of her school year, where I had to actually pull her out of school. So Empower You was a way for me, through my struggles, through my representation of a mom who went to the school with my emotions, had to find a way to have a dialogue. First, I was a teacher. Then I was that mom. How do I balance these hats? And so Empower Our Youth came about because I wanted to be a service for our families, to have a dialogue. I call it the 3 Ps. You have to have a plan, you got to have a purpose, and you got to have paperwork. And we'll talk about a little bit that more, but those 3 Ps allowed me to be able to shift from that emotion side, as we do as families, as even as a woman, who was strong about our babies,
Yes.
to having a dialogue with a school that's supposed to protect our child, protect your
Mm.
child, especially when it comes to bullying.
Yes.
And with me uncovering the bullying, there was so much more that I uncovered about myself, how
Wow.
I talked, how I presented myself, not just for my daughter, but as an advocate for my
Yes.
child. I went to schools, when I went to speak to other parents about what was happening with their child. It
Yes.
Anti-bullying changes you. But not only that, my daughter, my first daughter, which is now 30, she was bullied 10 years
Mm.
ago. But
Wow.
at that time, bullying is a word that's taboo, even in 2020.
Yes.
2020, it's still taboo. And she was bullied. So what I did, Candace, I just took her out of school. I said, listen, you better fight these girls. I moved her out of school. And that was that. For it to
Yes.
come back 8 years later in a whole different mind frame, a whole different environment, a whole different situation, even the kids and what we dealt with, the technology, it
Yes.
took me by, I didn't even know I didn't even know it was even happening until it was already in my face.
Wow.
And I felt that Empower Our Youth is being a voice for our youth against bullying. We have to be a voice. And that voice means not always putting up your fist. Just like when you talk about Friday and we do the boys in the hood, how things back in the day, you use your fist. Now that's what they want. So Empower You is more about being a voice, being an advocate, talking about to your children how to be safe, safety plan, things that we never talked about.
Yes.
And with the Empower You, it comes into the sports. Athletes, a lot of them, if you really talk to them, they were bullied.
Wow.
Athletes are bullied because it keeps, you stand apart when you are an athlete.
Yes.
And so a lot of people I have came across as athletes who you would never think they're high and they making great money. But when
Mm.
they talk about their childhood, they were bullied
Wow.
because they wanted to be more than just the average person. Like we all do. Our families want us to be more than what we were when we were
Yes.
growing up, our parents were. And with that comes with some sort of bullying. But bullying was called cracking back then, back in the 70s and 80s, even the 90s. It was cracking.
Yep.
So you kind of didn't think about that. You was like, oh, I was cracked. Was I really bullied? Because that's what your parents say. Oh, that's just cracking. It'll go away. Even teachers.
Yep.
So the sports and the Empower You come together because, again, it allows me to be a part of the youth. Our
Mm-hmm.
youth, we need a village. We need a village.
Yes.
And if it's one person like yourself, like me, to bring another positivity to it, again, that's what kids want. Kids really
Yes.
don't want the rah-rah and the hoopla. They really don't. That a lot of it's our parents. A lot of it's our parents, what we were taught and what we were brought up on. So again, the Empower Our Youth changes the way we think, the way we talk, the way we interact, and even how we interact with that person when they do something wrong to you. How do you interact with that person? And to get a positive resolution. I know a lot of people we probably can talk about this forever. A lot of our friends and just people that I know, they're kind of like 50-50 down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But, in school, it's not the same as you were. They have a school life. You probably know that now, with your daughter, there's a school life, just like it is your work life. And I just want to be that positive anchor to our families and to our community that you don't have to be silent anymore.
And you know what? And I appreciate that because being a voice, we do have to change our ways as far as communication. Because I know I have to be intentional when situations arise when it comes regarding my daughter, because I would go to 0 to 1,000 just like that over my child. And I had to learn through trial and error that you have to change your approach, and especially dealing with a school system or a big organization, you have to change the way your tactics. But however, there has to be solutions, because we can complain all day about different things. But however, how are we helping our children deal with the bullying, deal with building their confidence, if we're not teaching them effective ways of how to manage their emotions? Because that's our goal as parents, is to teach our children how to manage and make the best decisions possible to cope with life on life's terms. So I like that when you say be a voice, that's powerful. And so can you give us, from your experience being a teacher or just overall, what are some tips, or what do you think are some suggestions on how you can deal with empowering our youth, dealing with building, or just dealing with their self-esteem in general?
I have 5. I teach my models when, with their fashion show, as well as in school. I teach 5. And a lot of it's more from things that I've learned from over trial and error, but it's also bringing back some of those old school values. First off is respect. Respect goes a long way. A lot of our students, they don't know what respect looks like because their environment does not hold that respect, regards of, and it's not even about who lives with who. It doesn't matter if it's boys or, I'm sorry, if it's your mom or dad, grandma. It's just an overall home environment. There's no respect. So teaching your child respect for everyone, doesn't matter if it is a child, if it's an adult, respect. My second one is responsibility. Be responsible for your actions. And being responsible means that we all have said things that have not been kind. And I always talk about that think poster that we see all the time. It is true and found. Think before you speak. And having that just before you even, like, the respect, before you even go into talking, think about it. Is that worth it? Is it worth it? Is that going to hurt someone's feelings? Is it not kind? And our third one is being okay with who you are. Being okay. Being okay.
How do you be okay in a world that's teaching you that you have to have fake boobs, you have to wear this slim this face, and you have to look a certain way? How do you help our children or parents? How do we teach them how to be okay with themselves?
What I tell our parents is that you have to have that relationship building where you are teaching them that it's okay to be who you are. That's what brings uniqueness. Have those conversations about what you look like compared to others. I always have a conversation with what you see on TV is not reality. It's fantasy. So having that real deep conversation. And if some of my parents, if you don't have, a support system, find someone outside of that support system that you can talk to. And that's where I say uniqueness, the definition of unique means, that it's not the same. We're never going to be the same. So I teach my models that you have to be unique in who you are. When you're in a world that you need to be slim, or right now it's voluptuous with what's in, you got to be in a world where you have to be who you are. And this is how you get that. Wake up every morning with a purpose. Wake up every morning with, this is who I am. I always say, be smart, be bold, be beautiful. Find something inside you that you can gravitate, even in a world that you might not see it. You got to find a uniqueness. So I always tell my models or ladies that I come across, even guys, be unique. That's what's going to set you apart, because right now everybody wants to be the same. Be unique. Stand out. My fourth one is have a conversation. That's huge. Have a conversation. Put the cell phones down. Put the cell phones down. Listen, I
Say
had to do
that
it
again.
myself
He
because
said it
with
again.
us holding, we have businesses, we got mom life. I'm a teacher. My phone is always to my hip. So
Yes.
now on Saturdays, I take one day. So I challenge, even my kids, I challenge them, take one day to have a conversation,
Yes.
old school conversation. And I'm telling you, you will find out so much just with asking. Don't say, okay, make them go into details. So have that conversation. That goes back to the voice. You want to hear their voice. Have them come inside. Let's
Yes.
conversate. I always call the car ride. Me and my grandbaby, we do the car ride.
Yep.
And the one way you can get them to get your kid to talk because they're kind of secluded with you in the car, put that phone down. 10 minutes, it's me and you. Let's have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then my fifth one is village. You got to find a village. Sometimes that is hard to do with
Yes.
reality, but
Yeah.
I tell my students that you need to have a village, even in your school. You can
Yeah.
find a teacher that you're cool with. It could be the janitor. I know a lot of my friends who are cool with the janitor, the secretary, the lunch
Mm-hmm.
lady. They hold the secrets of the school.
They do. They do.
They hold the secrets of the school. Because when they come through there, they ask simple questions. Why are you okay? What's going on? What happened? Are you okay? You seem down. Get to have a relationship.
Yes.
So get to know who your child is. And that's why I say that fifth one is that village. Go into that school at the beginning of the year, find out who your teachers are. You might not go any other time, but you got to go at the beginning of the school year to find out who the teachers are, find out who the principal is, because when issues arise, they are going to be your safety plan, a part of that safety plan. They're going to know your child. They're going to know what's going on. Outside of that, I tell my models, I tell my youth that I talk to, find a village. A lot of them are in sports. A lot of them have dance teachers. Make them your village.
Mm-hmm.
Kids can have a village also. Because again, when you are in sports, they always, you as you're building yourself in the athletic world, you have, support. But for that one person that does not, you still can, because you might dance, you might go to the rec center and you see that same that same rep lady every day, or you see that recreation. Make that your part of your village, because again, when things arise, they're going to be your safety net. They're going to know who your character is, because you might have to use them. So those are the five that I use throughout my whole conversation about who empower our youth, is those five tactics. And then we just break them down and we talk about empathy, talk about, when you're dealing with a situation, and we use it all under those five umbrellas. Because
Yes.
again, if they know what they're looking for and what they're looking at, it
Yes.
will make them more aware to have that conversation and be more willing to talk to you, even when it's something worse of just homework, schoolwork, not even just anti-bullying. It could just be, like you said, society in itself wants them to be something that they're not. Women, it's a whole different positivity of being naked, being promiscuous, and we as women, doesn't care what race you are. We got to find that way to do, again, those five steps will allow us to get in to your child, or to a youth in this 2020, in this 21st century learner, as I call them.
Now, I would like to, and that's it's great, because the five keys you gave is powerful. But let's go back to let me go to back to the banner, having a conversation, because I have family members or just people in general on the platform mention, how do I connect with my teenager, because they don't want to listen, they're rebellious now, they don't, oh, whatever, just get that attitude. And some of the time, so how do you help a parent that has a teenager that has been bullied or have been disconnected or felt rejected, even from within the home? Because I have found, because those that don't know, I spent the last 15 years working in the prison population, doing drug and alcohol. So that's part of I'm a licensed independent chemical dependency counselor. So that's the other aspect of me. But working with individuals that's been incarcerated, the rejection, as you see from a teen, because they've been rejected or bullied. So what are some tips or suggestions on how you could tell a family member how to talk to their teen or whether they need to go get help. They say,
You know what? Meet them where they're at. I tell my parents, you have to meet your child. Sometimes your child um, keeps everything bottled up. So they use drugs, they use alcohol, they use promiscuity, they use it all. You got to meet them where they're at. That means that you got to come down sometimes off of your
yeah,
level and come down to their level. I think
yeah.
a lot of parents, it's, you know, as myself, we have high hopes. Your high hopes might not always be your child's high hopes. So sometimes
Mhm.
we thrust our child into different situations and places that they really don't even want to be in because you're going to do this because I told you. Sometimes you got to meet them right where they're at. So if that means that my baby is a D student, I got to come right down where they're at. Come down where they're at. That means sitting down with your child. That means even after your day is crazy, you got to go and find your child. If that means your baby's out in that street, I've had to done it. I'll be honest. My daughter, my oldest daughter, I was young when I had her. I had to go find my daughter. You know, I was in the street kicking it, going to the clubs Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then when my daughter started it, I had to go right to the street to go get her, to bring her back. Was it hard? Yes. Because sometimes we open those doors and we don't even know that they're open until it's already open many years later. So you got to go back through that same door, and that takes you back to your journey, back to things you could have done better. So when I say meet them where you at, you got to meet them where they're at. If that means if they out here, that means you got to go get them. Then that's what brings
That's
the
good.
village. That brings the village back because now it might not, the village that we always thought was our family. Sometimes our family ain't the village.
You
You
better
got
say
to go
that.
outside the village and bring that baby because your baby might have went to John down the street. So now you got to go find John to have those conversations. So and when I say meet them where they're at, you gotta be more open to their way of thinking. Like you said, their conversation. It might not be what you want to hear. So we block it out. And then our baby get away from us. And I've had to suck it all in like, whoo, I wasn't ready for this conversation. I wasn't ready to hear this. But it has
It's
made me
reality.
prepared. So now that when I talk to you, that's the first thing they say. My mom never listens. My mom and my dad never talks to me because we talk at them. And I had to learn myself how to talk openly and let them have that conversation. And that's why I said you got to meet them where they're at because they'll tell you if you just willing to listen. And a lot of it's just we got to get out of our mind what we trying to get them to do. And just, again, meet them where they at and be understanding that even when they tell you, be understanding.
Wow. That right there, Tanya.
That village, I'm telling you.
Meet them where they're at. That's one thing, and you hear if you watch any of my platforms or seen, be intentional with your children, and
Be
especially
intentional.
as Christians think that ain't my baby, or we're too
Yep.
afraid to talk about there's issues. There's hell in your home, and yes, and you may be a leader in the community. But there's hell in your home. But until you're able to get honest about those issues and begin meeting your children where they're at in your household, where they're at. You can't meet the needs of the people. You can't move forward because you're spending your time. And this is for the leaders. This is for the adults that we get ready to deal with you. You wondering why your kids are two-faced. And I had to be honest too, as it relates to my daughter, as her journey. I'm all up in her stuff, but I know that my daughter's not perfect. But however, I'm teaching her how to live, how she's been raised. But we had to get honest. But if we don't understand our kids' likes or dislikes or where they're at, how can we go into their world? Because we need to stop as parents, we need to stop as leaders thinking that, everything's hunky-dory, putting on this mask, and your household is falling apart. You need to put aside all of this other stuff and get your household in order. Because why? Because you can't say your teenagers, they don't want to talk to me. Why? Why? Because don't forget that you had a past too. I'm very open and honest with my daughter about my past. And that's why I'm able to pinpoint some of the behaviors like, no, you don't want to go down that road. But see, you have to be honest about that. And if you're not, then what makes you think that your kids will respect you if you're not willing to get honest about your past or behaviors, or even acknowledge and be honest. I'm sorry. I focus too much over here instead of focusing on you.
And
Right?
then sometimes also I tell parents, you got to sometimes let them fall. And that's where, with per se into a lot of like are the youth now, they don't know what it is to fall. They don't know what it is to make a mistake because mom and dad is going to sweep in. I had to learn to let my kids fly. And like you said, when you go back through that village, go back through that door, it takes those closets, those hidden gems, those hidden things that you had going on back through it. Because I always say the game didn't change, people change. And our kids is doing nothing but doing a recycle of what we did in the 70s and 80s. But now there is no fear. There's no fear.
None.
So that's where I say you have to meet them where they at. Because we had a fear. We would go to the line, but we wouldn't cross. They cross. Even with the bullying, they take it to a whole nother level. They want to, because of what they have embodied, what they see on TV, what their friends embody. We were able to stand a little bit stronger. Our youth, they want acceptance, but they find acceptance through what they see, not what versus what we found acceptance is was in our heart. They see visual. We saw on the back, and so now you have to learn your conversation. You got to be willing to hear them out, especially when it comes to bullying. It ain't about cracking no more. It's even with anxiety. And my daughter wanted to commit suicide. She had contemplated suicide. So that takes a whole nother level of how do you deal with that? How, again, me, if I would have never had those conversations, she would have never been comfortable to tell me that, Mom, I want to check out. Even though everybody around me, family, friends was like, what? She's quick. And a lot of our kids are fearful of what we're going to say.
Yes.
So when you meet them where you at, that pretentious is all gone. Now you're vulnerable, they're vulnerable, and you can get so much more. And that's why the fashion comes into play with Empower Our Youth, Cool Kids Club, because we're meeting them where they're at.
Yes.
And it's ugly, but a lot of it is good stuff. A lot of it is not so good, but you got to meet them there, and then you're able to now talk it through.
Yes.
And have a dialogue. And be a voice and be that voice, because now you're better understanding what your needs are for your child, or even someone that you might be mentoring. Now you know their needs well more than just the surface. Just like everybody tell us, you got to go deeper. When you go to a psychiatrist, my psychiatrist like, you got to go deeper, just like you got to go to your deeper with your babies. Even at kindergarten, they know so much and they hold so much.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too. We have to teach our children, even ourselves. We have to go back to the basics. We have to go back to the basics, because our job is, like I mentioned earlier, is to teach our children how to cope with their emotions, how to deal with life terms. Bad things do happen to good people, right? However, how do we teach them how to manage their emotions? Because I had to come to realize, when I look back over my teenage years, the pressure, peer pressure, trying to fit in, dealing with rejection, dealing with childhood trauma, dealing with all this stuff. And I'm like, what makes you, and I had asked myself, Candy, what makes you think your daughter is not going through different things? Because we know that research shows that teenagers, adolescents are the number one most stressed. They're stressed more than adults. Why? Because they're trying to meet the expectation of teachers, trying to meet the expectation of their parents, trying to meet the expectation of their friends. On top of, hey, they may have some chemical imbalances. Their emotions. They may be dealing with anxiety. They may be looking at some negative self-thoughts and different things like that. But however, if we don't take the time to put away and not put everything else in front of, yes, we got to work. I'm not talking about that, because I've been a single parent, but now I'm about to get married. It's about quality, not quantity. That we have to prioritize. We have to go back to the basics, like you mentioned, that village, going back to some of the key concepts that we missed, because our children are dying, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see a child die. It breaks my heart to see them drugged out, or they press or different things like that, and we can't do anything, And so I love what you're doing, Tonya, but being intentional, and being a voice that's powerful, because we have to go back, and it's okay family, parents, those that's watching on a replay, it's okay to go back to the basics. It's okay if you need to
Yes.
get help. It's okay that
Oh,
village take
yes.
a counselor.
Right. That's what I was just about to say. That counselor candidate. That's why when we met last year, and again, I'm like, I'm the voice because I share everything. And I went and found a counselor because I was going through my own turmoil
Yeah,
of health issues and childhood trauma. It was more of what I dealt with in school, being bullied
yeah,
for skin color, and you
mhm,
know, those things allowed me, and that's a part of the village also, that we
yeah,
can get help.
yes,
Our counterpartners, they go get help. We
yeah,
still have that stigmatism of, girl, if I go get some help, that calls me weak. No, that makes you stronger when you're going outside. Family and friends, that's not the counselor.
mm-mm,
That's not the counselor. And that village, and it's making it okay for our children to have a voice outside
mhm,
of what they are used to, what we were used to, because
yes,
they're telling someone. So even that baby that's on drugs, that one that's out here on the street, if you really dig a little bit deeper, there's a couple of things happening. Family
mhm,
trauma, drug and alcohol, there was abuse somewhere, bullying, and now they're 15 to like 24ish, because I deal my youth that I work with is fit 5 to 17. So even
mm,
at a 5-year old, they have
yeah,
seen so much,
yes,
and we have to have those conversations with our children where you got
yes,
to put your cell phone down and just be, like I said, pretentious
yes,
of who you are and who they
yes,
are. They're not they are babies, but your
yes,
babies, they hold a lot of things, and they hold a
yes,
lot of information. Our 21st, I call it
mhm,
21st century learner. They a whole
mhm,
different
yes,
learner than it was when I was growing up, a whole different learner. And that just brings on as the educator piece, having
yes,
that education to equip my families with
mhm,
information. Because a lot of them don't know the small things. Like you hear like homework and study skills and how to take a test, how to go to the next level if your child wants to go to college.
yes,
It's okay if your baby don't want to go to college. Just all these pretenses really help your
yes,
child, or they can break your child. And that's where Empower Our Youth, the anti-bullying is the
yes,
hub, but
yes,
we do so much more in it so that our families can understand that we here, we a resource, and that it's okay to want, okay to know and want help. Okay, that's
yes,
what I want my parents to know. You can be okay to want help.
yes. Hold on 1 second, because I'm trying to. Okay, there we go. Um, yes. So I just love what you're doing, Tonya. Like, just I still think about that young boy that blew the house that was singing.
That's Kyle.
I'm like,
Just even with him, he's coming back, and just to be able to even to see him here. That song, if you've never heard, is Andra Day, Rise Up. Really take a listen to that song. It gives you goosebumps because it's what we're doing every single day. We're teaching our families to rise back up
yes,
again. The world is trying to tear our families apart. And you and me and others in this community and around the nation, we're trying to rise our
yes,
families, but in our own way. Like
yes,
that, what's that post that you had posted a couple of days ago? The family that we once knew is no longer there, but that's
exactly.
okay. We're all learning new families, and that's the beauty of us now, is that we're taking some of the things that we've learned and we're taking new things and we're putting them together. And our kids, they know it all. They know it all.
Yes,
You know, they not
yes,
know paper, they know paper child. They are a social media and technology child. So you got to
yes,
get to that place. And that's what's going to allow you to have that voice, to be that advocate. And if they need to go to the next step, which I call you having a counselor position, you know, going
mhm,
to some mental wellness,
yes,
going for tutoring,
mhm,
take those extra steps.
yes.
Because in the long run, your child will thank you, but you'll also thank yourself.
Mhm. And that is correct. We have, as parents, as leaders, as guardians, or just loved ones in general, we have to take an extra step, because even now, like, I'm not social media savvy, when it comes to Instagram and Snapchat. A better way to meet one of your kids, I have found, meet them where they're at. Find out what they're doing on Snapchat or Instagram, or get them, hey, how do you do this? How you do that? Engage them. Because that's how I started dealing with my daughter. It's just in conversation. Hey, what's some of this? Having conversation. What's some of the music that's going on? Or what's some of this? Or, hey, what's how you? And before I knew it, before she knew it, she telling me about everything, the gossip, the latest drugs, or mom this, that. But I met her where she's at, and that was social media or a certain music or a certain style. Instead of telling your kids, don't do this, don't do that, because I'm a Christian and I'm also a minister, but I listen to all types of music. Yes. And I allow my daughter to listen to music, but when she tells me that, Mom, you take the fun out because you always preaching and having a teaching moment. I said, no, because like I said, we're trying to teach our children how to live. And so I said, if you're going to listen to this music, then let's break this down. We break the whole song down. I said, so help me understand, is that edifying? Because how we supposed to teach children how to be in this world, but not of it? Yes. See, that's where we get lost at. You have to meet your children where they're at. So I take with her, sit down. That's just an example. I sit down with her. What are they saying? And then I said, okay, so what is these words? How does that tie into what you're talking about you want to be? I'm not saying because it's catchy beats and different things like that. I tell you clean music. But however, in this day and age, how can we meet our kids where we're at, where they're at, if we don't even know anything about what they're doing?
And that's key. You have to meet them where they're at. And like you say, that's social media.
Secrets. Like, I know that my daughter doesn't tell me everything, but most parents will be shocked how my daughter talks to me. Why? Because she shares a lot with me. But I have been open with her because I'm meeting her where she's at. Because one, when my daughter opens her mouth and it may be something off, I know how to pray effectively for her. Right? I know how to go navigate different situations, or build in, a counselor, build in exercises or different things in our day-to-day life to help her. But you have to be intentional. But if you don't have self together as parents, please go get some help and deal with your issues, because our children are a reflection of what we have or have not dealt with in our life.
Amen. They don't know. And that's just that big word. Meet them where they're at. I talk to so many parents about social media, and I just want to kind of just put a little bit Roblox, YouTube, Fortnite. There is a sexual piece to these games. Pedophiles built these games, and there's not a lot of there's research. It's starting to come out now, but before I became a teacher, I was a secretary. So as a secretary, we went to secretary conferences. So you see all these different apps come about, and all these dating sites, and there is chat rooms in all these sites. So parents, we just talk about social media. Please be aware. Again, like you said, meet them where they're at. They will tell you all the latest gossip, all the latest everything on social media, because that's their world. Like I say, we have a work world and they have a school world, and that school world involves social media. So like with my daughter, when she went to college, her first year, she knew all her roommates 5 months prior to she even went to school. So when we went to school, you had to make those, those first initial conversations and friendships when you first got there. Now these kids, when they go to college, they already have met their roommates. They already have been out. They've already FaceTimed them. So they already know their world before they get to school. So if you have a child that you're talking to and they really don't know about that child, talk about that social media. They will tell you. Because again, TikTok, all these challenges, a lot of our family and members and youth and even elders, they really don't know what's happening. All of these challenges stem from social media, and then it comes back to us. We're on Facebook, but your babies are not on Facebook.
No, they're on TikTok, they're on Snapchat, Instagram, not so much Instagram, now Snapchat and TikTok is the thing now.
Yeah, and now another one is WhatsApp app. It's just an app, but you can contact them, you can call, so you can ghost it out, just like Snapchat, and you can have these conversations with grown people. And a lot of these I keep saying these new apps that are coming out in the last 5 years, they have been designed by pedophiles. Pedophiles are designing, and all
Yes.
they do, like TikTok, they watch kids dance all day. And then they make these side conversations. So just be intentional, just be aware, have those conversations, be open, pick up that phone, open it up, see what's going on. Again, you got to meet them where they're at. Use it as a tool when you're talking about homework.
Yes.
Just small little things that will allow you to have an open door so that when bullying does arise,
Yes.
you're not waiting like I was 3 months later before I found out. Now I give my parents tools to ask their children, not just, okay, what you do today? No, you ask them, how was your day? What did you do at lunch? That's where you said that be intentional. Ask those specific questions. How was your ELA class? I see that you're not getting a good grade or your grade's great. So what's going on? How do you like it? Why are you getting a good grade? How is your teacher? Just small things that you can do, even at work. Email. Email is still here. Email your teachers. I have 100% parent involvement in my class, even in third grade. And that's
Wow.
because I make it a business and a pact that you must get to meet me and you must email me at the very beginning of the year. So that when things arise, and we've had some bullying issues, I've had some home trauma issues, it
Wow.
allows you to have a door and you become a village. Your teacher is not what they see on TV. There's so many of us, Black, white, Asian. We want to be our child's village, but our parents still have that stigmatism from the old school days.
Yes.
So you take that on to your child.
Yes.
And so you don't have a conversation. You got to have that conversation with your teacher because it will allow you so much more so that when things happen, you can get to the root of it. And then you can take it to the next level, which is administration or high department education, since we're in Columbus. Or if that does not work, then you move it to the next level. And we just teach our parents of what these extra steps are, so that you can continue to be that voice, even when bullying is happening, even if your child's on drugs, you still can be an advocate and they become an advocate. I tell my kids, self-advocate. You got to have self-advocacy. And that's what Empower You does. Even with our models, we teach them to be self-advocates for their own being and their positivity and how they are and how they are portrayed and what they look like to others as well as to themselves.
Okay, so how can people follow you?
So if everyone you can follow me. So there's a lot going on with Empower Our You. First of all, we have been asked to bring the anti-bullying fashion show to Detroit. So I'm excited about that. So the foundation is called T Rose Foundation. You can find them all over social media on Facebook and Instagram. They are all about girl power, the youth between ages of 5 to like 18. So it's like high school, from elementary to high school. And there are a community-based organization in Detroit. We are bringing the Unity Fashion Show to Detroit, and that will be April 25th at the Boys and Girls Southeastern Detroit. That will be April 25th. We are starting our first practice for our first annual Empower Our Youth show. This year's theme is Rise Up. I took what Kyle had sung and I am moving it to the next level this year, to be a voice, but to rise up. We got to rise up, no longer sitting still. Let's get moving on bullying and on different issues that are happening. We got a lot of babies that turn 18, get out that vote. Even doesn't matter who you are, but just rise up, be intentional, be empowered and inspired to be a voice for yourself. So that will be August 22nd. Is the first annual Anti-Bullying Empower You fashion show. And again, just a little bit about that really quick. I brought the fashion show is because modeling, arts, every child, boy or girl, loves fashion. It has really consumed social media, society. You see it on cartoons, you see it on Disney, you even see it now in the commercials. And with me being a model, I felt that was what I got my positivity when I lost my hair. I got back into modeling. And so it was just a way to bring the conversation of bullying, because bullying is still so strong to people, that when you create it under the arts and fashion, it allows people to kind of listen because of the fashion. So they want to listen. They're kind of like leaning in, like, okay, I see the fashion. And then you can give them that message so that when they lean back, they're like, oh, I saw these wonderful fashions, but I want to know more. So that's what allowed us to have this
Mhm.
fashion show. So they can find us on Facebook under Empower Our Youth LLC on Facebook, Instagram. You can find Empower Our Youth Fashion Show. You can find that social media on Instagram and Twitter under Youth, capital L, lowercase L, C. And again, if any of my parents out there need assistance in bullying, as well as I tutor K through 5, contact me 614-928-0016. We have a team who can help and assist you. We have Director Tracy Kane over Cool Kids Club. That's a monthly meeting, and that's just for our kids to just get together and meet new friends, and as well as learn some tips of schooling, studying, as well as that anti-bullying prevention awareness. And we do the sport. And I cover sports on the collegiate and national levels. I'm getting ready to cover the Big Ten Women's Tournament in March. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to be that woman who has, dredged that way, and just to be a voice. And that allows me to have a platform also when we talk sports. So thank you again, Candace, for
Thank
allowing me
you.
the opportunity to share. And again, if anyone
Yeah.
wants to email me, they can empower our youth LLC@gmail.com.
Okay. And once we log off, I'll put your information, or you
Okay.
can go in the comments and put your information.
Okay.
But please go out and follow her page.
Mhm.
Like, she has a lot of resources on her business pages, the Sports Kale Media, right?
Yes.
Page, and also the Power Our Youth LLC. So please go, because she has a lot of prevention stuff on there. Please follow her, support her. Okay, support
Thank you.
anti-bullying fashion show in August, and if you're able to make it in April to Detroit, go. It's free. Now I
Yes.
won't be there, but I'm getting married that day, so
I
I
know.
can be there.
And I'm just so excited to see you. Listen,
Yeah,
marriage, it will be 31 years for me and my husband. So listen, marriage is the most
yeah.
beautiful thing. I love it. We're getting ready to celebrate our 21 years of marriage, 31 years together, and our big 50. And we've been together since
Aw,
18. So I tell people, marriage is love is work, but it's the best work in the world. So congratulations on your
thank you.
upcoming marriage and wedding. I know it's going to be blessed,
Yeah.
and just live life fearless.
Yes. And so please follow her. Thank you, Tonya, for
Thank
coming on,
you.
and the knowledge, the nugget, and of course you'll be hearing from me, and I'll be seeing you
Yes.
on Saturday for another practice. But I thank you again. I thank you. I really do. I love what you're doing. You're a voice to the people. You're the solution to the problem. And so I love that. Keep on. Keep being you. Keep just being who you are.
Yeah.
And I also, because the Lord told me to tell you, because out of your obedience and your sacrifice for what you're doing, He's going to take your brand not just nationally, but internationally. Okay, so you just keep going, because there's going to be endorsements, there's going to be different things that God is going to do with you in the vision, and He's going to connect it, not just in the
Yeah.
U.S. outskirts. Okay, with what you're doing with anti-bullying. So I'm just honored to be a part, to see what God is going to do. I continue to speak blessings and favor over you and your
Thank
family,
you. Thank
right?
you.
Everything that, and I pray that every need is met as it relates
Man, because
to the vision
woo.
and the dreams that you need.
Thank you. And it's a blessing just to be here and just to see the blessings for you to continue to be that support for our babies, but for our families. And to
Yes,
show that you come with so many different hats, it's like we all do. It is a blessing to be able to see that and shine. So thank you, Candace. Again, we met last year, and it's just like that again, the village. It's like all of
yes,
us now, we are a village, and we're able to share and connect and support. It's okay to support. So I love you.
yes.
Thank you very much. And I will see you soon, because it's time to get it going.
All right. Good
All
night,
right. See you
everyone.
later.